Okay, Algebra 2, folks. We are solving by factoring. So we have these equations. They're not expressions anymore, they're equations. And we're going to solve by factoring. And we have 4 simple rules. Number 1, we have to make sure that the equation is set equal to 0. So as a number 1, they're equal to 0. Number 2, they're not equal to 0, so we have to make them say equal to 0, so on and so forth. Then we factor. You do whatever factoring you have to do. Then step 3, we're going to set each factor equal to 0, and then we solve each mini equation. All right, so set equal to 0. Done. 2, factor. So this is a nice equation to factor. It's a trinomial. We can do our 2 parentheses. So if you want to do the a times c, we have a negative 28. So I need factors of negative 28 it's negative, so we have to subtract to the middle. So if you want your factors of negative 28, 1 and 28, 2 and 14, 4 and 7. To which ones subtract to 3? That's right, 4 and 7. We have to have a negative 4. So x minus 4, x plus 7. Okay? There's step 2. We just factored. Step 3. We set each factor equal to 0. Okay? So setting each factor equal to 0 means I literally just say x minus 4 equals 0 and x plus 7 equals 0. That's it. There's step 3. Boom, taken care of. Now, step 4, we solve each mini equation. I call these mini equations. Some of you are going to get to this point right here and you're just going to say, oh, x equals 4, x equals negative 7. So here we have to solve. Add 4. X equals 4. Here we subtract 7. X equals negative 7. Some of you will skip this step and you'll just go right to here. Okay? We just did it. We just solved number 1. These are our 2 answers. By following the rules. Rules are good. Follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, you get problems wrong. All right, number 2. All right, 1, set it equal to 0. This is not equal to 0. There's a big fat equal signs right here. Don't put equal sign here on the end. That's wrong. You do your algebra. All we got to do is move things around. So what do I have to move? That's right. I have to move the 5x and the negative 7 the other way. So we have to take the 5x and we have to move it that way. We have to take the negative 7 and we have to move it that way. How? Well, that's right. We subtract the 5x and then we're going to add the 7. So I'll do that to both. So I'm going to subtract the 5x. I'm going to add the 7. So we subtracted the 5x, I'm adding the 7. So here we have our equal 0. Okay? So we have 3x squared plus 7x. And look at this. They cancel. It's no longer there. I don't have to worry about it. It's gone. Okay, we did the hard stuff. We made it say equal to 0. Now I have to factor. Well, how do we factor this? That's right, this is not a trinomial. It ends in an x, so it's not even dots, not even close to being dots. It ends in an x. The only thing we can say here is GCF. GCF. And what's the GCF here? That's right. The only thing they have in common is x. X to the power of 1. So then I have 3x plus 7. We just did the hard part. Equals 0. So we did the factoring part, number 2. Now we're on number 3. We said each factor equal to 0. Well, how many factors are here? That's right, there's 2 of them. There's 2 factors. Here's a factor and here's a factor. We said each of those factors equal to 0. So this x equals 0. That's done. No work to do there. Now this factor, we set it equal to 0. 3x plus 7 equals 0. So what do we do first? Well, we have to subtract 7. So I have 3x equals a negative 7. And now I just have to divide by 3. And I have a fraction as an answer when I divide by 3. So x equals negative 7 over 3. So we have our two answers. X equals negative 7 over 3 and x equals 0. So I'll write that over here, 0 comma negative 7 over 3. There's our answers. You know, technically you're supposed to put the, you can circle them, don't use parentheses. You can put your little squiggly brackets to say it's those set of answers. Okay, but there you go, there's your answers. 0 and negative 7/3. All right, moving on. Number 4. There's your equal sign. Set it equal to 0. So I'm going to move, what am I going to move? That's right, I'm going to move the 3 and the negative 3x. So I'm going to subtract the 3, and I'm going to add the 3x. Add the 3x. So we have 4x squared plus 23x minus 6 equals 0. Now, look at this. Is there anything we can do with it? Is there a GCF? No. Can we divide by a common value? In other words, is there a number that will go into 4, 23, and 6? Don't say 2. 2 doesn't go into 23. All right, so there's nothing we can do. I have to go right to factor. Okay? Remember, we can divide by numbers. So if I could divide everything by 2, I would. We cannot divide by letters. If we divide by letters, we lose roots. Okay? We lose roots. All right, so I got to do my a times c. So I'm going to do my a times c over here. So my a times c is a negative 24. So the a times c is a negative 24. So I need factors of 24. 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. So which one of these factors, because the sign is negative 24, that's right, they have to subtract and give me 23. So which are the only ones here that will subtract and give me 23? That's right, it is just 1 and 24. And we'll put, and so it's going to be a negative 24. That's right. So I have 4x squared. And what do you want me to put first? 24 or the 1? I'll put the 1. So plus 1x. Oops, I made a mistake. It's a plus 23. Mr. Prada, it's a plus 23. So this is a plus 24 and a minus 1. All right. So we have minus 1x plus 24x minus 6. And now I can do my splits down the middle. And now I'll have to say, okay, what's the GCF here? That's right, it's just an x. So x goes on the outside, and I have 4x minus 1 on the inside. And if you have 4x minus 1 on the inside here, what should you have over here? That's right, a 4x minus 1. So that means what has to be on the outside? That's right, 6. Negative 6 divided by negative 1 is 6. And if you're not sure, 24 divided by 4 is 6. Plus. There's your plus sign. All right. X plus 6 and 4x minus 1. We did the hard stuff of factoring. That's done. Now what do? That's right. We set each factor equal to 0. That's step 3. So here we go. Setting each factor equal to 0. I'm running out of room. I'm going to finish it up here. So I have an x plus 6 equals 0, and I have a 4x minus 1 equals 0. So what does this x equal? That's right, -6. That's done. Here, you got a 4 attached to the x. You know you're having a fraction. Who cares you have a fraction? Fractions are friends. So all I got to do is add 1, and then we divide. So we have -6 and 1/4 as our solutions. There, nice and easy. All right, questions? Okay, moving on. Number 4. All right, number 4 is a different equation. We factored these a couple days ago, and we saw them yesterday. We saw them yesterday as well. This is a third-degree equation. It has 4 terms in it. So then how are we going to factor this one? That's right, all we have to do is the split down the middle. All right, so what's the GCF here? That's right, x squared. And on the inside, I have x plus 5. So if I have an x plus 5 here, what should be over here? Well, that's right, an x plus 5. And then what number goes on the outside? That's right, -6. -30 divided by 5 is -6. Boom, done. All right, we did the hard stuff. Now let's just write it out properly. So we have x squared minus 6, and we have an x plus 5 equal to 0. All right, that's the hard stuff. 3, set each factor equal to 0. Here we go. X squared minus 6 equals 0. X plus 5 equals 0. I'm going to do the right side first. We just subtract 5, that's right. So I have x equals 5. So this one's done. This is unique. We've never seen this before. You're going to see it now for the first time. How do we solve this? That's right. All I have to do is add 6. Now what? How do I get rid of an x squared? We square root. That's right. Now, you have to remember, in geometry, when you're taking the square root of both sides, you're usually talking about the Pythagorean theorem. You're talking about the sides of triangles. Okay, so you're only keeping the positive answer. Well, here we can't. We have to keep everything. So when you take the square root of both sides in Algebra 2, you have to remember to say plus and minus. Okay? You have to remember to say plus and minus. So then x equals plus and minus, and we can't do anything with radical 6. Done. So we have our 3 answers. X cubed is supposed to have 3 answers. 1, 2, 3. Okay? We did the hard ones. Now let's go do an easy one. I'm going to turn the paper over, and we're going to do an easy one. Uh-oh, it says a systems of equations. Don't worry about it. You do the exact same steps for systems of equations. Okay? Everything's the same. Believe it or not, here's a systems right here. Okay? Ella, knock it off. That's my dog whining. All right. When we do systems of equations of a second degree and a first degree, we have to use substitution. Okay? So, 3x plus 2 equals 3x squared plus 14x minus 2. Take care of the whining dog. All right, so we did the substitution. All we did was 3x plus 2, we popped it in right there. So now we're at our, just like we saw on the other side, we have to set this equal to 0. So I'm going to subtract the 3x, subtract the 2. Subtract the 3x, subtract the 2. 0 equals 3x squared plus 11x minus 4. Now I just have to factor that. Okay? So, we gotta do our AC. No, I'll do it right. I'll do the, so a times c, 3 times negative 4. Negative 12. What are your factors of negative 12? We'll do 1 and a 12. That's right, I'm going to stop right there. What's the sign? Right, 1 is negative. So I have 3x squared minus 1x plus 12x minus 4. And now I can do my split. Okay, what's your GCF here? That's right, it's just an x. So I have 3x minus 1. And over here, if this is a 3x minus 1, what does this have to be? That's right, 3x minus 1. Now, so then we just have a negative 4 divided by negative 1 is 4. Right? 12 divided by 3 is 4 plus. So we have x plus 4, and we have 3x minus 1. There we go. We did the hard stuff. Set these each equal to 0. So this x equals a negative 4, and then this x is 1/3. How did I get 1/3 so quickly? Right, all you have to do, remember you're adding 1, and then we divide by 3. 1/3. You add 1, and then what do we have to do with the 3? That's right, we have to divide by 3. So it's the 1 divided by 3. Okay. So we have our x answers. These are your x answers. Remember, this is a systems, so not only do we find the x, we have to find the y. So we have 2 equations to look at. Close your eyes, it doesn't matter which one. I'm going to pick the easier one. I'm going to pick the linear equation one. Okay, so we can do that in our head, or else you can write it out. I'm going to write it out just to show you the steps. Okay, but you could do it in your head. Okay, so we're going to plug in each of these. If I have 2 x answers, I'm going to have 2 y answers. So all we're going to do is y equals 3 parentheses plus 2. What goes inside the parentheses? That's right, the negative 4. So then y equals negative 10. I'll let you type that into your calculator. Okay? Remember, I'll let you type that into the calculator to do that. You can do that on your own. I'll do the other one. All right, so then when I do the 1/3, I'm going to do the same thing. Y equals 3 parentheses 1/3 plus 2. All right, here I'll do it. 3 times 1/3. So what's a third of 3? That's right, it's 1. Plus 2 is 3. So we have our answers. When x, actually I'm going to write the answers as ordered pairs. Remember, x goes first, then the y. Then this one is x goes first, then the y. There. We just solved a systems of equations with a first degree and a second degree. By the way, this is old stuff. You guys should have done that before. Alrighty. You'll see those in the problems.